Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 46. It's Iliya here, and as always I'm so excited to see you on my YouTube channel. As always, in this video we're gonna have a look at the market, how it developed, what opportunities did we have, and what can we expect for the upcoming week. So in a few words, this week has been pretty nice. We had a lot of opportunity except from Thursday, because it was very filled with news, and we had that release from the Bank of Japan that caused a lot of stop losses and stop hunts with that huge explosion to the upside. But it is what it is. I actually skipped Thursday, and on Friday we had some pretty nice actually take profits trades. So I'm gonna show you as much as possible. So if you're new to the channel, it's all about trading. I post weekly analysis, I post educational videos, so make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell in order not to miss any of the upcoming content. And if you already did, I want to let you know that this video is sponsored by Crypto Rocket. It's an amazing broker, especially for crypto, but it has all the currency pairs as well. The spread is low, the leverage is high, and the withdrawals are super fast. So make sure to check it out. There will be a link in the description below. And if you already did, let's get straight into the video. Alright, as always, starting with the dollar, let's see what is happening. So weekly time frame, again, we cannot extract too much information from it, except from this little area that I see right here that the last weekly candle actually found resistance from. We had some support the previous week, some indecision. Then this week the market tried to push up, but there possibly was some profit taking on Friday. So if we zoom in on the daily time frame, what we can see, the market opened, yeah, exactly right here. We started to push up. Then we had some selling pressure, but the market was again held by the buyers, again buying pressure. And the last day there was profit taking actually exactly at this daily area. So if I drop to the 4-hourly time frame right now, as you can see, the whole week was actually bullish. We had higher highs and higher lows, absolutely perfect. And right now, actually, we spiked into this area, we pulled back and currently sitting at a higher low. So I would say that this area where the market is right now, it's crucial in order to see where the market is going to go. So there are a few scenarios right here. The market might come up to make a double top or to make a head and shoulders as well of this, which could act as a left shoulder and then reverse. But what I want to see first is a break of this trend line or just a break of structure, because up until now, if you analyze even from the bottom, we have higher low right here, higher low right here, one right here, and we haven't broken any single one of them. Okay, so if the market finds support right here, pushes up a little bit, fails to make a new high, and then flushes to the downside to break the trend line, to break the higher low, then I will be selling the dollar. But we should see what is going to happen, because for now on the hourly time frame, we have the structure shifting. Actually, there are some sellers coming in, but I want to see how the week is going to open, if we're going to have some selling pressure, and then I will be selling the dollar. So let's see. For now, the market is bullish. Euro USD weekly time frame, what I can see here is actually pretty similar to the DXY. We have this little structural area just right here, and as you can see, this weekly candle actually dived below, but then emerged back to the upside, closing above this area. So what I can see here is some bullish pressure. Dropping to the daily time frame, what we can see, the market opened right here, indecision, a little bit of a bearish pressure. Then this candle right here was the only like real bearish candle, but it left a wick again to the downside. And then on Friday we had a nice spike to the downside, rejection, and closing bullish. So as you can see, I am more bullish than bearish on EU, and this actually supports my short bias on the dollar. But we have to see yet how this market is going to open, because still we are in a downtrend. But this area right here tells me that the market is holding. So if I go to the 4-hourly time frame, and I know already did all of that information, we can see the market opened. We had a push, a pullback, lower high, lower low, lower high, beautiful opportunity right here, lower low, and right now we pushed up, attempted to make a lower high, right? Wick. So I would have entered shorts right here if I was trading, but then the last 4 hours broke above. So we are having the bullish pressure for now, and if I draw this kind of trend line, it was broken to the upside, and we already have a little area created right with this week, and this is a little zone that is potentially seen on the hourly time frame. Well, not much, but I see it as a break and retest, push, pullback, push, higher high. So we have the bullish pressure. What I want to see for this market, when it opens, I want to see a little pullback, maybe potentially to make a double bottom of this area right here, or to make a higher low and then to push to the upside. So I will allow the market to open to see if really the bulls are going to take control, and then I will start entering, because I think there could be some buying pressure. But still, if you have a look, the overall trend is down. I can draw a trend line like this as well, that the market is currently tapping. So I really want to see that the buyers are entering the market, because there is another thing that I see is this area that is pretty strong, kind of a zone. You see tap, 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 break, retest, retest, retest again. So let's see how the market is going to hold. Let's see if it comes back to retest this little area to form a higher low and then continue to the upside. EJ weekly time frame, we have a bearish closure with bullish pressure from the downside. And if I have a look, I think we had a look at this from the previous volume. A pretty strong supportive level right here, I would say 116.0, and we can see that there was some selling pressure right here, but then the buyers started entering in that area. And if I go to the daily, we can see 2 wicks from that area. So what I can see from the daily is a clear downtrend actually, because you can see swing high, swing low, lower high, and actually currently we created a lower low. We saw quite a lot of support coming in from this area. You see tap, 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 and here we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of the market consolidating at this area, but then we had the break, a little retest, and continuation to the downside. So taking this information and going to my time frame, the 4-hourly time frame, we can see the strong push to the downside, pullback, but then attempted to make a low, but focus on this, we failed to continue lower, and we have quite a few spikes to the downside. But what I can see as well, which kind of makes me think about the bias of this market, is this area. Because this lower low, actually when it was broken, it turned into resistance. We tested it once, twice, 3 times, bearish engulf, meaning that there are a lot of sellers coming in, but then the market closed, we had a bullish candle. So still I am 50-50 on this one. What I want to see is the market to break this area for longs, because if it breaks, then it will really indicate to me that there are people buying, right? If I have a pullback, this will mean a higher low, and then I will take a buy. On the hourly, this will look like a nice uptrend, which we kind of already have, but as you can see, the market tapped right here, then strong bearish pressure, but failed to continue pullback consolidation during Asia. London opened, we pushed below. Where we pushed, guys? Exactly below this low. Stop hunt, strong push to the upside, higher low, almost a higher high. What I want to see is the market to continue to create that higher high, then pull back to the trend line, and then we can have the long opportunity. So let's be patient, make sure to take note of this zone and wait for the break. AU weekly time frame. So I believe we expected some selling pressure from this one, because from the weekly time frame it really looks like a lower high, and with this week, like, all of the people would have sold this market. But we can see there was some selling pressure maybe at the beginning of the week, but then the market pulled back and actually closed bullish. So this contains some information that the market is not ready yet to flush. Push to the upside, pull back, higher low, higher high, higher low. Then we got the slowdown. We attempted to break, but have a look how the market failed to continue to the downside. The EMA held price action, and then we pushed up. So basically, how I can see this market is a little bit as consolidation. And if I go to the 4-hourly time frame, this will be perfectly seen, but I will not analyze it like this. I will just have a look how the market developed right now. So what I can see is there is a very strong resistance level right here where the market tapped, created a nice low, but then created a new uptrend, and currently the market is sitting here. What is the bias of this market? Well, it's clearly to the upside. As you can see, push, pull back, higher low, currently attempted to create a higher high. Still, I am bullish. What I need to see for a bearish market is a break of the trend line and a break of the last structural level, which is just right here. A strong break below, a retest will be my short opportunity. For longs, I want to see the market continue to the upside, then come back for a retest, and then continue up. So that's pretty easy. Let's see how the market is going to react from this area, because I think that's pretty crucial. From the weekly time frame, we are sitting at a very nice place to short the market. But first, I would recommend you don't jump into this trade without having the confirmation, because if you jumped right here, or if you jump right here without having it, then potentially you would have lost. The market is not ready yet. Let's wait for the market to indicate when it's ready, and then just jump on the train. AJ, exactly the same price action as AU. The previous weekly candle closed as an indecision, and this week actually tried to push down but then failed and closed bullish. This contains information that, again, the market is not ready. We have an uptrend for now, push, pullback, but take this information into consideration. If we have a look at this high, when the market pushed to the downside to create a higher low, it had to create a new high, but then it pushed up 2 days of wick rejections, indicating that the market is trying to push down. Then we pushed down but failed to continue, which means that the liquidity, the orders are not enough for the market to push yet. So we're currently pulling back into that major area. And if I have a look at the 4-hourly time frame, we have exactly the same price action. The market is trending up. Something like this. I don't like trend lines because there are multiple ways to draw them, but I will just take this one, and I can see that there is a pretty strong resistance area again. You can see all of those wicks that are about to be filled. So maybe the market will continue a little bit to the upside to fill those wicks, maybe even to tap this kind of area. We have 69.0 right here for sales. Again, I want to see a break of the trend line, potentially a break of this level as well, a retest to indicate a lower high, and then I will be shorting the market. So this is my view on AJ, but let's see if the market is really going to turn bearish. There are some indications that the market wants to push down, but we don't have the confirmations yet. So if the market pushes up, then it pulls back for a higher low, shows me the rejection, then I will potentially follow the market, because I will not get fixated that from the weekly time frame we are looking for sales. If the market tells me buys on Monday or Tuesday, then I will buy the market, so keep that in mind as well. Similar price action on the NZD. So what we can see from the weekly time frame is a strong push to the downside, strong push up, and the market kind of started to consolidate around here the last 2 weeks of price action. Kind of bullish pressure right here coming from the downside, and this one is indecision as well. So let's drop to the daily time frame to try to break down the structure better. What I can see right here, this is more sell bias than the Aussie pairs, because here we had the break of the trend line. We have the high that was failed to be broken. Push to the downside, pull back. We have a nice lower high just right here, but then the market actually failed to make a new low, indicating a little bit of a consolidation right here. So dropping down to the 4-hourly with all this information, we can clearly see the key areas where the market is holding. What we can see now is slightly bullish pressure coming in. What we can see is that the market broke above this high, came back for a pullback, and actually we had some buying opportunities right here, but this was exactly on a market close, so I will not bother to enter. I believe there was an opportunity that we took from this area, but I will not go into it because it takes me quite some time to spot the entries. But as you can see, strong push to the downside, pullback, lower high, attempted to make a lower low. It actually looked like it made it, but then bullish pressure, and it was already over. We had some selling pressure coming from this, but then a massive break, pullback, and this actually looks like a buying market. So last structural point, just right here. Let's see if the market is going to break. I would love to see a break below this one. So if I have a break of this structural point right here, I will wait for a little pullback, retest, lower high, and then I will short the market, because I believe that this should go down. Because have a look at the daily time frame, we have a beautiful setup right here looking at price action, push, pullback, lower high, attempting to make, currently gathering the orders. So maybe there could be some news release that will just dump the price, and then we can just get on the bandwagon, right? So let's see if this happens. Will be how I look into this market. Maybe we can have a potential break above. If it gives me the pullback, I might enter a short, but I will be very mindful of this area as well. So take this into consideration. I want to see shorts, but if the market tells me longs, then I will be taking longs. NJ weekly time frame, let's cover it quickly because it's exactly the same as NU. Again, push, we have a bearish candle right here with wick to the downside, and this one ended up being an indecision doji. Daily time frame, we have similar price action right here. I can see a little break and retest of this area, push, strong wicks coming from the upside. We have a double bottom as well to the downside, which will be a very strong kind of area that you can monitor for potential take profits. Seeing right here how the market is failing to break above tells me that there is really some sellers sitting in and around this area. So I skipped the daily a little bit. So again, similar push, to the downside, pull back, lower high, attempt to make a new lower low, almost did it but failed, pull back again, and this I will look as a lower high, and we already broke down the 4-hourly time frame. So I want to see a strong bearish close below this area to break below the EMA, to break below all of those wicks. I'll pull back later for a lower high, and then I will be shorting the market. First target the downside right here, and then I believe we can start targeting all of those structural areas. This is what I usually do. This is the first one, and then it might even take us back to 62.0. So let's see if this happens. This is how I will be looking at NJ. USD/JPY weekly time frame. Let's see what do we have on this market. Actually, it's looking pretty awful the whole week. It has been consolidating. So we have a little evening star right here on the weekly time frame. The market is looking bearish, actually holding below the EMA. And this week we had a little pullback, and actually we closed bearish, which contains some information. But if we go to the daily time frame, I can see a pretty strong supportive level right here that has been holding for quite some time, and as you can see, 5 days of complete consolidation. 4-hourly time frame, it's even clearer. What I can do is just take the highest point of the consolidation as structural resistance, structural support. I can draw something like this. Let me see. Yep, this looks perfect like this. And as you can see, where price is stuck, if it breaks, then we immediately will encounter this daily support. So keep that in mind. I took a little break-even trade on UJ. I actually sold pretty low. If I try to spot it, I think it was just right here when the market broke below the structure, and I entered somewhere around here. The market pushed down, but then reversal, and I got stopped out of break even, and then the market pulled back on me. So this was my trade right here. I will not go into the 15-minute because I will get lost, because that's just awful price action. Back into the 4-hourly. Guys, what I want to see on this one, well, I want to see a break below. I just want to see a new downtrend get created, because we will push down, we will find support, the market will pull back, might potentially come back into the range. So I want to see a clear break, retest, and then continuation. As a last structural level, I have this one. So maybe the market will pull back to create a lower high somewhere around here, and then I might get a short opportunity if the hourly time frame looks good. So we had a short right here, I believe it was on Friday. As you can see how the market has been trending up, failure to break, bearishing off right here. And on the 15 minutes, I think the entry was just right here when the market broke. Here was the first one right here. Then the market broke, pulled back for a lower high. Wick, plenty of wicks to take your trade, and then it flushed with the profit taking from Friday. So pretty nice trade if you really zoom in, but the 4-hourly time frame is just awful, and I would love to see some clear price action for next week. USD CAD weekly time frame still indicating that selling pressure, but not flushing yet. So what I can see here is a very little structural area like this. The market spiking up, again spiking up, selling pressure is entering. So are we ready to flush? Well, we don't know, but we see that the market pushed down, pulled back, pushed down, perfect lower low, attempted to pull back to create a lower high. Then really it was looking like it's going to flush, but have a look at market open. And this is why I don't like analyzing on weekends, because on Monday the market opens and it just pushes up. And this makes me change my whole analysis, right? But we can see that here, Tuesday, Wednesday, we held at this daily resistance area. And then on Thursday, we had a flush. There was an amazing opportunity, which I'm going to show you right now, if I am able to spot it. So have a look at the 4-hourly time frame, push to the upside, pull back. There were some opportunities. I believe there was one here. No, that's previous week. Okay, so we started right here. We pushed strongly up. Exactly. So then we pulled back to create a potential higher low, but then the market failed to break higher. So we actually created a double top. Have a look what happened later. The market broke below this weak area, strongly pulled back, rejection, bearish pressure right here. And if I drop to the hourly time frame, we had a little double top. Or even if you don't trade a double top right here, you can wait for the market to tell you that there are sellers are coming, and then target the next retest of the broken area. Break, retest, bearish engulf right here, wick, plenty of time to take your trade, and then the market just plummeted to the downside. So this was a very nice opportunity. I didn't take it because it was Friday. And if I have a look right now at the market, I can see that it's already falling to the downside. We have a lower high right here, strong push to the downside to create a lower low. Then we had some profit taking from this push, and basically right now we are resisting from this area. What I want to see from this market, it's how it's going to hold. I don't want to see it break above this kind of structural area that is currently retesting. We have a wick. Let's see if on market open we're going to introduce the selling pressure. First point that the market will find some pressure are those wicks that might get filled. And if they get filled, then we can expect a pullback for a lower high. And that's when the biggest opportunity will come, when we can target the downside right here. And if this downside gets broken, then we have plenty, and this gap might finally get filled. So we have been waiting for USD CAD to flush. Let's see if it's going to be this week, but make sure to wait first for the market to indicate that it's reversing. For example, wait for the market to break a trend line, to create some new bearish structure, and then jump in, because it will continue. So let's see if we hold this resistance area, and if we break the support, come back for a retest, and then short the market. USD Swiss franc, I don't know why, but I married this pair a little bit this week. I took one loss and then one win, which I'm going to show you right now. So looking at the weekly time frame, I can see the similar structure as the DXY. There is a little area right here that is holding. As you can see, price spiked through but closed below with some selling pressure in it. Daily time frame, we can see how this daily area right here is holding, something like this. The market climbed to it, and then a massive spike above, and have a look where the spike took place, just above the high of this wick. It's very little, but it was actually a stop hunt. So going for the first trade, which was a loss, I took it right here, something like this. Yes, so how I was looking at this market is the market is pushing to the upside, and I wanted to take a pullback back into this kind of wick area right here, and then take a long. So on the hourly time frame, I will be able to spot it. Yes, so it was exactly right here. I spotted that the market was breaking below this little structure, and I just wanted to take a quick short. So on the 15 minutes, I saw the market failing to make a new high, pushing to the downside. Then I had a little retest. It was on the 5. Yeah, exactly. Here it is. It was on the 5 minutes. So I think I entered either right here or either right here. I'm not sure which one is it. I think it was looking something in the middle or something like this. The stop loss was pretty tight. I believe 3 pips. I took the trade something like this. Then the market pushed. Boom, stop loss. And then it actually ended. I was looking for a re-entry, but then it actually ended up consolidating. So I was happy that I didn't take any trade. The mistake right here was that the market was overall bullish. So I shouldn't have taken a reversal. Okay. The next trade I took was actually after this developed, and when I saw that the bears were actually entering, and I spotted this, and I identified this as being a lower high. So when I dropped to the hourly time frame, what I saw is this double top. I didn't rush like this to enter at the top this time. I waited for the market to show me the bears to come in right here, rejection, plenty of rejection. I plotted this trend line. I had a break of the trend line, and when I dropped to the 15-minute time frame, exactly right here is my entry, something like this. I saw the break, 2 wicks on the 15 minutes, and I entered on the 5 minute with a very tight, I believe it was 3 pips. Yeah, exactly. I entered right here with 3 pips stop loss. I think it's exactly like this, even a little bit higher. And I took my profits at that big wick right here. I took actually partials when the market did this, but then I saw wick to the upside, so I said okay, we're going down. But then the market spiked strongly, filled that wick, and closed with a rejection, and that's when I took my profits. I took a 3.17 R, something like this, when the market was spiking down. So this was my winning trade, which actually covered my loss. Pretty nice trade. Then the market reversed and went with the overall direction. So focusing back, what I can see is that overall we are bullish, but have a look what is happening the last day. The market spiked up, creating a massive wick, bearish engulf, indicating some selling pressure, pull back. We had some bullishness right here to create a higher low, but then the market just plummeted to the downside. And if I have a look on the hourly time frame, I can see that this trend line was finally broken. We had a retest, and this was a beautiful trade just right here. The market is creating a lower low right now, so I want to see how it creates at the lower low on the 4-hourly time frame. I want to see how it's going to pull back later for a lower high, and then I will be shorting the market. This again depends on the DXY, so let's see how the DXY is going to develop. Overall, it looks like it's still up because some of you might draw this trend line and say, okay, this is trending up, but I'm spotting that the earliest signs of the reversal, so I will keep shorting the market if it doesn't create a higher low in and around those areas and shows me some bullish pressure from the lower time frames. This is USD Swiss. I'm looking for shorts. Let's see if it happens. Let's have a look at the GBPs. Kind of confusing pairs to trade this week. So from the weekly time frame, we can see that this looks like the perfect short with this strong wick to the upside at the EMA, and it looks like we closed as an evening star formation, but I really don't like this wick to the downside, which kind of indicates some buying pressure coming in. So this market opened just right here, started quite bearish, push to the downside, strong push to the downside, but then it started to form some support. But there was still the selling pressure. As you can see, wick to the upside, wick to the upside. And I thought that this was going to finish bearish, but actually it was consolidating overall. And if I drop to the 4-hourly time frame, if you didn't manage to get into a trade from the top right here when the market opens, then here it was actually a complete mess. So how I would mark this market is pretty easy. It's just a consolidation. What I want to see is a strong break below, a pullback, and then a short. I will be monitoring the hourly time frame as well because it gives you the earliest signs of a reversal. But for now, as you can see, there is really nothing to read on this market. We might have something like this if the market breaks to the downside, then comes back for a head and shoulders of potentially this little structure, then I might look for some sales. But for me, the higher probability trade will be to wait for the break of the consolidation, the pullback, and then there will be plenty of downside. And if I have a look at GJ, it's actually the same, looking like it's more bearish than GU. If I draw this little area and drop to the daily time frame, we can see the market opens right here on 20th of April. It gave us a little wick, a little pullback, lower high, very strong closure with no wick to the downside. The next day opened, give this little pullback, strong bearish pressure, actually breaking below this one and closing below. But then immediately the market met some buyers, pullback, big wicks to the upside, indicating selling pressure, which is perfectly fine. So dropping to the 4-hourly time frame, again, if you didn't take any trades from the upside, which was actually looking like a consolidation, and when it broke, it really broke and continued to the downside. So how I will read this market again, I want to mark this kind of supportive level because we can see tap, and we actually finished the day with some bullish pressure. And from the upside, I will take just the recent highs. Okay, hourly time frame, we can see the clear consolidation. It's jumping from the roof to the bottom. So I want to see a strong break below, a pullback, and then a continuation to the downside, or it could be to the upside as well. So let's be careful, but I will classify this market as consolidation. GA actually trended nicely to the downside. Having a look at the weekly time frame, the previous week actually created a wick to the upside, closing very bearish, and this week created a little pullback with this wick and closed extremely bearish, which is pretty good to see. Daily time frame, the market opened right here, wick. It was climbing, it was actually going down, but it was in a pretty kind of wicky manner. But we can see a strong push to the downside, pullback, lower high, currently creating a lower low, so we can expect some pullback on it. And if I drop to the 4-hourly time frame to analyze this market, we had a push, pullback, lower high right here, actually failing to break above this structure, creating a double top. Push to the downside, pull back again, opportunities right here. But you can see how wicky it is. It pushes down, pulls back, pushes down, pulls back, and you really don't know if this is really going to push down. But here you have 1, 2, this is 8 hours, the market failing. Hourly time frame, we had a double top, the break, then even the retest of the previous structure, something like this, and then we continue pushing down. So what I want to see from the next week, I can see that the market is trending down pretty nicely. I can see that the last structure that I'm going to take is this. I want to see how the market is going to pull back in and around this area to form a lower high and then continue. I'm looking at this market as a little bit extended because if you compare the pushes, like have a look at the first push, have a look at the second push, which is way smaller than this, and have a look at the last push, which is even smaller than this. So I think the market is running out of momentum. We might have some bullish pressure. It depends on the Aussie as well. So for GA, make sure to monitor Aussie USD because GA has a slightly different behavior than GU and GJ because it's closely related to AU. So make sure to monitor if AU starts to pump to the downside, as I think we expect it to do, then this might break the structure, break the trend line, something like this, and we might have some longs. So make sure to monitor and stay with the flow of the markets. And lastly, Euro GBP. Strong push to the upside, pullback. This weekly candle indicates against selling pressure, so we can look for sales. Daily time frame, the market opened just right here, bullish, found resistance from this area, just right here. Resistance, bullish candle, bearish continuation, but then it ended up with some selling pressure. So coming to the 4-hourly time frame, what I can see, I don't trade this pair currently because I don't like its behavior. It's either strongly pushing down or strongly pushing up. It's not creating clear the price action I would love to trade, right? But if I'm to analyze this one, I will see this as a lower high right now. Strong push, pullback, lower high, lower low, sorry, lower high, wick. But what I would love to see first is a break of the hourly time frame, like this, break, retest, which is actually forming right now. So we might have some pushes to the downside, and let's see if that happens. So this is Euro GBP, and this is for the GBP pairs. GODI weekly time frame, it actually turned into a safe haven right now, and we can see that it's continuing to push up from the weekly time frame. The daily time frame is perfectly bullish. We have a push, a pullback, a push, a pullback, push, pullback, beautiful higher low. Just right here, if we have a look from the daily time frame, spike, beautiful pin bar right here, and continuation to the upside. Right now, we are about to encounter the daily higher high, and what I can see even happening, there was some profit taking, of course, but what we can see is wick, push to the downside, attempt to create a higher low, but then when it pushed up, found a lot of selling pressure, bearish engulf, actually breaking below. But then in the close, again, we had some bullish candles. So it's slightly indecisive how I would approach gold right now. Maybe I will look on the hourly time frame for some lower highs. But for now, what I want to see is really the market to show me some selling pressure if it's going to go down. If not, then I want to see it continue. You can trade the breakout. Gold is perfectly traded with breakouts, because if it breaks, then it just goes. Right? So let's see if it breaks, then we can potentially have a slight higher low that we can trade. But overall, this is going up. So we have to follow the trend. But right now, I can see some selling pressure coming in from the top. So I want to see how the market is going to react to this area. And if we potentially dip below this weak area on the hourly time frame as well, then I can look for some shorter term shorts. But they will be short-lived, because overall the market is up, the sentiment is up, so we have to follow them. So let's see what happens. And wrapping up the video with a quick analysis on US 30. So what I can see here is some buying pressure, because you see wick to the downside. If I go to the daily time frame, the market is trending up for now, but is this the correction of this whole crash to the downside? I don't know, and I believe that if you want to trade effectively US 30, you have to be following the fundamentals behind those 30 companies, and actually behind the stock market. So to be honest, I don't trade US 30. I'm just analyzing it as well, following it, trying to dive deeper into its behavior to see how it acts. But with everything that is happening right now, I think it's moving really according to the fundamentals rather than the technicals. So going to the 4-hourly time frame, we had some uptrend right here. Then the market spiked to the highs, pushed down for a higher low. Then it failed to make a new high. A strong push to the downside, breaking below all the lows. And then this looked like a perfect lower high to sell. Failure, strong push to the upside, indicating a higher high. And there was a setup that actually played out that I showed it. It was the 61.8% of this push, but this was Friday already. So, and I'm not trading this. So how I'm looking at this market, well, I will mark this higher low. For now, very shorter term, it's creating an uptrend. So I want to see how it's going to pull back, possibly continue up. But we really have to see if the stock market is not going to decline further. I have been reading some of that, but I'm really not that biased. So let's see. For shorts, I want to see a strong break below the trend line. A strong break even below this structure will be an indication for sales. Because if I go on the hourly time frame, you can see push, pullback, push. So this is the last higher low from the hourly time frame, which could indicate an early indication of the market reversing. So this is how I'm going to look at it. We might potentially even have this, because I know it works perfectly with VIPs. Tap the 61.8, currently going to create a double top, or to tap the 61.8% further. So let's see if this plays out. I would love to see this push to the downside. again to buy some more stocks as well. So let's see if that happens. And this is how I'm going to wrap up the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, you found something helpful from it. If you did, make sure to let me know down in the comments. Slap the like button in order to really let me know that you enjoyed the videos. Let me know what you want to see more as well down in the comments, and I would love to thank you for staying up until now. I really appreciate you guys, and see you on my next video.